Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today I want to do a comparison of two budget-friendly active smartwatches or watches designed for people with active lifestyles. On the right-hand side, I have the TicWatch E2, as you can see down here, and on the left-hand side, I have the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is the price point of these two watches. So the TicWatch E2 comes in at $159, and the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active comes in at $200. Now, with that being said, the TicWatch C2 is probably more comparable to the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active in a lot of ways because it's the, I would say, more classy version of the TicWatch. That one comes in at also $200, and then there is also a TicWatch S2, which has a little bit more of a rugged design. That one comes in at $180. So there's a few different options you have here with the TicWatch, but with the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, you basically have the Galaxy Watch, which is the more expensive version, or the Watch Active that you see here. And again, this one's $200 and $160. All right, so now let's go ahead and talk about the build quality of these two watches. And first thing I want to talk about is the display that you're going to be looking at. So both feature an AMOLED display. The TicWatch E2 has a 1.4-inch AMOLED display, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, we have a 1.2-inch AMOLED display. So definitely the smaller of the two. But I would say that the Samsung Galaxy Watch, just like with their phones, definitely has the more vivid of the two displays. So it looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more punchier. But the TicWatch E2 also has a pretty decent display overall, in my opinion. But when it comes to the rest of the build quality, there's no question that the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, I would say, is the more classy of the two. This one has a 100% completely plastic build. Same thing with the TicWatch S2. If you're looking for a little bit more classy look, definitely go with the C2 because it's made out of metal. The difference being that the TicWatch E2 and the S2 have 5 atmospheres of water resistance like the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, but the C2 does not. It has, I believe, IP68 or IP67 water resistance, so no swimming with that watch, whereas with the E2, the S2, and the Galaxy Watch Active, you can go swimming, and they do actually track your swimming because of that 5 atmospheres of water resistance. So other than that, this one does have a microphone. It does not have a speaker. It does have a heart rate monitor and GPS built in, of course, Bluetooth. There is no NFC here, whereas over here on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, you do have NFC for mobile payments. So if that's something you want to use, you don't want to get the TicWatch E2 because it does not have that. The C2, again, does have it, and same with the TicWatch Pro. Now you notice that I keep fumbling with the screen, and that's because the TicWatch by default has a very fast, it's going to turn the screen off pretty quickly by default. You can see that there isn't always on display, which is nice, but it's going to turn off on you pretty quick. Now, again, it does also have, of course, flip to turn on the screen, so you can see that does work pretty quickly, but it does by default turn it off pretty quickly because that's conserving the battery. This is definitely the thicker of the two watches, also, of course, bigger because it does have that larger display. Over here on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, we have a metal build. We have also quick release bands, same thing that you get over here. And you can see the heart rate sensor over here does look like it would probably be a little bit better, and overall I'd say the heart rate sensor on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active is a little bit more reliable than what you get here on the TicWatch E2. So just a heads up, if that's something that's super important to you, you probably want to go with the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active because in my experience, this one definitely has the more reliable heart rate sensor, which is not something I could ever say of any other Samsung watch that I've reviewed. So just a heads up there. All right, so now I want to go ahead and talk about the software of these two watches. So the TicWatch E2 is running Wear OS 2.2, and I would say in comparison to older Android watches, this is definitely a drastic improvement. They've definitely made some nice gains here when it comes to software. So if I go over here to the left, you can see I can get into my Google Assistant, which is definitely better than Bixby. So that's a one-up for the TicWatch. If I come up here, I have my shortcuts. If I come from the bottom, I have my notifications, which is a nice improvement versus what you used to get on older versions of Android watches, so you can respond to them. Of course, you can use that microphone to respond as well. So huge thumbs up on the software here in comparison to older versions of Android. And then over here we have Google Fit, and if I click in on the button, you can go into all of your apps. Now, one thing that definitely sets this apart from what you get on the Samsung Galaxy Watch is that there are way more apps available in the Play Store here on the TicWatch E2. So a whole lot more options in the Play Store versus Samsung's Galaxy Wear or Galaxy Store just is very limited. In fact, almost all of the apps that you can get on it are pretty much watch faces. There are a handful of useful ones outside of that, but for the most part, there's no question you're going to get a lot more options here on the TicWatch E2 when it comes to apps. So just a heads up, if you are an app lover, you definitely want to go with this. Now, I want to go in here to Tic Exercise just to show you what kinds of things this can track. So we do have pool swim, like I mentioned earlier. There's a freestyle. And then if I go over here, we have cycling, indoor run, outdoor walk, and outdoor run. Now, when it comes to actual tracking your workouts, this does a very good job overall. The GPS, I have no reason to question. It's always been spot on in comparison to my other smartwatches, and I have a lot of them. So very good. The heart rate is a little bit less reliable. So I've found that this tends to have about 10 heartbeats per minute faster than what my actual heart rate is. So if my actual heart rate's closer to like 160, this is usually reading about 170. So that's definitely a little bit of a negative there with the TicWatch E2. Now with the Samsung Galaxy Watch, again, there are fewer options available here, but we go over here to the left, we have our notifications. You can see they go one by one basically. And if I come up here from the top, we have our shortcuts. From the bottom, you can see nothing. And then over here on the right, and this is the part that I really like about the Samsung Galaxy Watch, is we have our widgets, which is really cool. You can adjust them however you want. And again, it is a little bit more limited when it comes to the actual apps. If I go over here to this bottom button, that's going to bring me into my apps. And again, much more limited in the Galaxy Store, so that's that right there. But I'm going to go into Samsung Health here and just show you what kind of workouts you can track here. And if working out is your priority, I would say that the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active is probably going to be the watch for you versus the TicWatch E2. And the reason for that is because there's definitely more options here. So we have running, we have walking, cycling, hiking, and there's just a lot more specific workouts here. So if I go way down here, you can see there's circuit training, weight machines, and then there's other. So we'll go into this basic other. So that's just a general one. We can skip that and we'll end it and finish it. And yeah, let's get rid of that. So it's going to save it. I'll go down here and I'll discard it. But what I did want to point out here is if I go all the way to the very bottom, oh no, it didn't do it. Okay, let's see here. All right, all the way to the very bottom, there's more workouts. So it actually has specific workouts like arm curls, arm extensions. You can see there's just a ton of options here. So there's certainly more options here. Also, the heart rate sensor here is more reliable. GPS is pretty much equal. Both of them have great GPS. I've not had any reason to question the GPS on either of them, but definitely the heart rate monitor here on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active is a little bit more reliable in my experience. All right, so the last area I want to touch on here is the battery life of these two watches. And to be completely honest, neither of these watches have all that great a battery life, but I would give the slight edge to the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, and the reason for that is the fact that this one can charge via basically any Qi wireless charger. So it does come with a Qi little puck here that you can attach to it, magnetizes to it, and it will charge up that way. Or you can use just any other wireless charger that you have for your phone. So if you have a wireless charger for like your Samsung phone, you can charge it up with that. That is awesome. Whereas over here on the TicWatch E2, it comes with a proprietary charger, and in terms of battery life, I would say that neither of them, again, are great. The TicWatch E2, generally speaking, I can get through about a day a full day of usage, maybe 2 days if you really stretch it out and you're not using it a whole lot. If you keep all the notifications turned off and maybe only go running with it once in those 2 days, then you'll probably be fine. But yeah, the TicWatch E2, not all that great a battery life, but the same can also be said here of the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active. This one definitely has the bigger battery. I think this one has a 230 milliamp hour, where this one has, I think, a 450 or a 410, somewhere in that range. I'll leave it in the notes here. But yeah, so battery life though, really not a whole lot of difference here. Easily get through a full day here. Again, if you use the GPS and you're also listening to music, because by the way, both these sport music, you can get Spotify here. Here you can get Google Play Music. There are a few other options available on both watches as well, but those are the main ways to get music on the two. But going back to the battery life here on the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, generally you get through a full day. Stretching it out to 2 days is going to be a little bit of a difficult task, but you can do it. Again, you basically just need to turn it on to, turn your notifications off, turn it on to do not disturb, so you're not getting a bunch of notifications, and that will conserve battery life on both of them. I would also recommend using a black background so that when the watch is on, it's not using as much of the battery life here to try to light up the screen. So just a heads up there, battery life on neither of these is great, but I give the slight edge to the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active because of the fact that you can use any Qi wireless charger to charge it up. All right, so to wrap up this comparison, I'm just going to go ahead and pick which one I like better of these two. And for me, it's the Samsung Galaxy Watch Active, which I couldn't really say of previous Samsung devices when compared to Wear OS devices. But I definitely think that Samsung's come a long way. It's a lot more accurate when it comes to GPS and heart rate than I had with previous Samsung watches, so that's nice. But if you want more apps, maybe a little bit better battery life, a little bit bigger watch, if that's something that you want, then definitely the TicWatch E2 is the way to go, because there's no question that this one has a lot more app availability than what you get on the Samsung Galaxy Watch. But overall, let me know what you guys think. If there's anything I missed, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to answer any questions you might have about the two watches. Thanks for watching. Hope this video has been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.